Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness inside.
Already forgot the episode. I think it's 7.
7.
I love it.
Number 7.
The Dance of Life. Sitting here with Matt Triche, a lifetime pursuant of music, dance, opera, New York, 30 years. I'm going to shut up and we're going to start getting into his story a little bit. So welcome to All About the Grind, Matt. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you.
Dave, I mean, you got to get a little bit quicker on this, man. So we may have to record it and use this fancy little machine we bought.
That would work.
Yes. I have so many questions. So you are a very interesting individual. I know you, and I think that's how I find most of the people, but I don't know the in-depth story of you. And so this should be fun for me because your path is way different than anything I did. I mean, I played sports. He played sports.
Yeah.
You know, I did go to Episcopal High School my last 2 years of high school, and Miss Dearman. No, that's not Miss Dearman. She was in my class. Miss Deering, always wanted me to get into theater because I was so theatrical and everything. And I'm like, I'll play football. I'm not.
Right.
Looking back, I really wish I had done it.
You would have been good at it.
Well, they had so much fun and the unity they had. And I'm going to shut up. He'll be able to tell more than me. But, I mean, I would watch because I had a lot of girls. They're beautiful girls.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of girls that I was interested in. So I hung out and I got to watch y'all practice. So when did you begin the love of, what was first, dance, singing, or acting?
So no, I was never an amazing dancer.
Okay.
So what happened was you have to take electives in high school.
Right.
So I took drama
Right.
because I thought
Right.
I have to take something. And by accident, I had to sing something in a play we were doing. And the teacher said, "You're kind of a great singer." And so he turned my name into the chorus teacher.
So did you ever sing at home before that? I mean,
I sang growing up. You know, just
so
to the
who was your
radio
singer?
and
Was it your mom or your dad that had the better voice?
My mom.
Your mom.
My mom.
Did
for
you
sure.
always hear her singing through the house?
We would sing at church,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
And so
Duet?
No, just
Okay.
sing.
Just sing.
You know, just
Okay.
singing.
Y'all
I enjoyed singing. I enjoyed music. I was always into it. And so so he turned my name to the chorus teacher, and I said, no, because I thought the same thing you thought. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
Stereotyped.
I'm gonna get called,
Right.
you know, a fag.
Right.
It was the '80s.
Right.
You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you didn't do it. And so I was like, no.
Camaros, mullets, and
Yeah.
you know,
I was not
AC/DC,
interested.
baby.
There you
I
go.
had the most amazing mullet. I'll show you. I promise.
That's awesome. We're gonna compare mullets because I had
Okay.
one.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
So then these girls approached me, like you said, you know, and they were like, "Hey, we go on trips to New York. We go to Six Flags. We do yada yada. Like, you should join the choir." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." And so I auditioned, and I was young. I think I might have been in 9th grade.
Was it local?
In Orange Park.
Okay. You
Yeah.
want to mention the school or no?
I went to high school in Orange Park.
Orange
High.
Park High School.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And so they talked me into it, and that all sounded great. And I was trying to hide. And so,
And that's a great place to fit in
yeah,
because it's very accepting in all areas.
yeah. And so
And there's expression.
I got in the senior choir, and the teacher said, "You can make money doing this." And I was like, whoa, okay.
Had you been working
Well,
with her for a few years? I mean, so from 9th grade on?
It was a gentleman, but
Okay.
no, yeah, from 9th grade on. And then it came time to go to college, and I wasn't interested in studying music. I was interested in chemistry or being a doctor or something like that. I was interested in chemistry because I thought I wanted to make perfume and cologne. So I wanted
Where'd
to,
that come from?
I don't know.
Magazines? It was the 80s, right? So
Yeah.
we're
I don't know. I wanted to study chemistry. And throughout high school, how I made money was I started working early. I started working at 14. I worked at, I don't know if you remember George's ice cream parlor
Yes.
across from the high school.
Yes.
So I started working there at 14. And at 15, I signed a modeling contract and I started modeling. So that's how I made money.
Locally,
Yes.
initially.
Yes. And, but anyway, I didn't know how I was going to pay for college, you know. And so I heard that at the time it was called FCCJ. Now I think it's
Yep.
called FSCJ.
Yeah, now it's the Florida State College of Jacksonville.
Yeah. And so I heard that they had scholarships for singers. And I thought, why not? What the hell? So I auditioned for scholarship. I got a full scholarship. I got
So hang on a second though. Excuse me. Any formal training?
No.
Could you
At
read
that
notes
point,
and
no.
everything?
Not really.
More
no.
just harmony. You could hear it and you could hit it
Yeah.
crisp.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an art. That's a skill. Were
Yeah.
you able to do that with the instruments as well?
I studied.
You know, some people do play by ear.
Yeah. No, I had studied saxophone
Okay.
in middle school and then was like over it. But so I auditioned,
Okay.
I get a full scholarship, I get book money, and then they actually offered to put me in an apartment near UNF. So the requirements for that scholarship were that I take choir, that I take a certain number of music classes
Right.
to fulfill my scholarship.
Right.
But I could also take all the other courses
Yeah.
for free. So I had 20 hours in my scholarship. And all those choir classes were only like one credit, one credit, you know. So I had, school was paid for. I happened to be a little bit of a smarty pants, and I tested out of English and math. So I didn't have to take any of those courses in community college. I had to take creative writing and statistics or something
Right.
like that. But yeah, I just happened to be sort of smart. And
So you moved through the JUCO school pretty quick.
yeah, and I didn't, I never took the SAT. I never had to take any of that.
Right.
So
Did you get your AA there and then?
I didn't. I didn't
Okay.
finish. So
Because you got the modeling. I mean, you've got the modeling going right now, right? At this time in the
yes,
right.
yes. And so what happened is I did go to FCCJ at the time, and we took a trip to New York, and I was still on this track to be a doctor, to be
Right.
you know, something money making, and we go to New York. We see a Broadway show, and I was like, "That's what I want to do." And so then my whole
Was it the crowd or was it just the turning loose on the stage?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
it was
know.
just
It
magic?
hit me. Yeah, I was just like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to sing. I enjoy singing.
Yeah.
You know. And when we had gone to New York that time, you know, I was part of a choir, and we were on a tour up the East Coast, and I got to sing some solos in some big churches, and just the sound and the atmosphere of church. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
the
not-
emotion
I'm-
of it.
Yeah, I'm not a super religious person. I
Right.
just, it's overwhelming when you sing in those big churches.
Yep.
Like we sang at, you know, in New York City at St. Patrick's, and it was just like, it was so overwhelming just to hear your voice like echoing through this entire building.
And you know, it's built specifically to carry a voice to
yeah.
where, David, you sit in a certain spot in the middle, in the back, and it's like you're sitting right beside him.
Yeah.
It like echoes right down on
Really?
you. Oh, it's amazing. A lot of the
yeah.
I've been in there, but I've never seen
Yeah.
like someone singing there. Like,
yeah,
the
it's-
building itself
because it
is-
goes, you know, it goes both ways, right? Isn't that the one? And so they had to find a way to distribute the sound, and then the brilliance of what those people did. And so, anyways, yeah,
Yeah, it was.
it's like one big shower.
Yeah.
You know, you just
That's a
can't
good
go.
way to say
You
it.
can't go wrong. especially when you have a voice like that. So, anyways, continue.
So anyway, so then I decided that's what I wanted to do. So I auditioned for this school in New York, and I got a scholarship there as well. And
You casually
so-
blow by that. How many audition and how many make it? Yeah, exactly.
You know what I think it is? If I'm being completely honest with you, it's called show business. And I think the business part is what you don't get taught. So if you stick with it for 10 years, then you get somewhere. But people get frustrated. And I was one of the lucky
The
ones.
grind. The
Yeah,
grind.
the grind of it.
That's
the business of
That's
it.
part of
Yeah.
why I wanted you here.
You just want to sing and somebody say, "Oh my God, you're amazing. Like, we love you.
And you're waiting for the story to
you're
happen.
a star." Yeah.
Right.
And it's
And
not
very
that.
few. No.
It's very few.
How many years till you really started catching attention or understanding where you needed to be noticed?
I don't know if I ever caught the attention that I wanted, you know.
Is it pure luck at times?
It's luck and it's persistence,
Yeah.
you know. It's
It's like the baseball
sticking to
field.
it. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the best. Well, I'm not gonna say a lot. There are many great pitchers that never make it, and often it's the coach or the team or the scout that's in that area. There's something he doesn't like, and often he's right. But there are many that have gotten through the nets that really could be dynamic. I mean, Chip Dorton used to sing at First Baptist downtown, and he was the understudy to who's the opera gentleman that passed away?
Pavarotti?
Yeah, Pavarotti.
Alrighty.
Yeah, there it
Yeah.
is. That one. I'm telling you. I mean, it's out of my league. But and I got to listen to him all the time downtown.
Yeah.
And when he's my wife's favorite singer. And when he would open his mouth, it was just like, I mean, angelic. You know, I don't have that ability.
Yeah.
So your mother was the better singer. Were they involved as you were up there in school?
They were really involved.
So your dad
sometimes
was
too involved.
I've been there.
My dad, it's interesting because my dad loved theater for some reason. And he was like a military man. He was, he's like a Cajun guy. He was the funniest person. He was amazing. You would have loved
He's
loved
passed?
him. He's passed. But he had a great sense of humor and a Cajun accent. And
Because of Louisiana?
yes,
Okay.
they grew up in New Orleans.
Okay.
And
Oh, so you can cook.
I can.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, you can put some spice on that thing, can't you? Yahoo!
In fact,
So-
it's funny. We do the day before a holiday. We always do gumbo.
I was gonna
The
say
night
he could have
before.
brought that in with him.
You know, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Well, there's more to him. This won't be a part. This is probably part one.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes.
So tomorrow night we're doing gumbo at my sister's house.
So it's every Christmas,
It's the night before.
night before Christmas.
And then you do traditional Christmas.
Family really important to you?
Very.
Yeah. Is it a big family?
It is, I'm the youngest of 5.
Right. Brothers, sisters. What's the ratio?
So it's 4 boys, 1 girl.
Okay.
And she's the middle.
Oh, she's a
and-
pistol.
Oh,
Man, she's fighting.
You-
Hey, she's fighting down and up.
you have no idea.
Got what's her name?
Melanie.
Melanie. God bless you, Melanie.
Oh, she
Yeah.
is. She's.
She'll look you dead in
she'll
your
be-
eyes and tell you what is.
She'll be the shit out of all of us. I'm telling you that.
There's not
And
me, because I bow. I know. I see them people coming. I'll be like, Melanie, I'm that dog that'll roll over and show my belly. I'm good.
What's so funny about her is that when, so she was an athlete her whole life,
All right.
and she was incredible, an incredible athlete, beat all of us at everything, and she was so good at basketball that they put her on the boys' team. When
What years?
In
Just
the
ballpark.
in the early 80s.
Okay, early 80s.
Yeah,
So that's not done.
right.
Yeah.
So she played on a traveling softball team. She played basketball. She did decathlons. Like
She was fast too?
she was fat. She did hurdles.
Softball and fast. So she was an outfielder?
She did everything.
Wow.
Everything
My
you can
brother.
imagine.
My freaking brother.
And when I got to high school, I'm telling you this, there's at Orange Park High in the gymnasium, there's a board that has all the national and state
Yep.
records.
I'm in
And
there often.
she was on there like 6 times
Wow.
when I got to high school. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, so they know you as hers.
I'm like, let me just tell you, I just dress cute. Like, I
If you
don't,
throw a ball at me, it's going to hit me in the nose.
right. Or the chin.
Oh my gosh, my brother was a stud athlete, 2 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
And so I dealt with that. You know, I was an average athlete. You know,
Yeah.
I had a little skill and a lot of grit. You know, I was not. He was a stud. You know, baseball player, basketball. He would have made fun of me. So
Yeah, no, she was something else, and she still is. She's a VP at Everbank. So
Wow.
she has more money than God,
yeah,
and she's smart as
Yeah.
I mean, she is just
because she understood early on about the grind and how to fight and get
yeah.
and perseverance.
Yeah.
It's really staying the course. Those that make it, like you say, it's if you stay long enough, opportunities may arise. You still may miss some of the larger. I'm sure that people miss it. Do you feel that you could have done much more there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? It's for me, the big thing was fear. I was scared. I was scared to do anything. I was scared to be myself. It was all fear-based. And that's the reason I didn't go as far as I should have or could have. And it's still a thing. Like
You mean like pushing out from who you know you are to what you allow people to see?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
on stage, not really being that all into the character for
Not,
fear of what they would think.
not that, but in life.
Oh, I got you.
I think if I was more brave when I was young, I would have gotten a lot further. I fear stifled me a lot. It really did. And it still does. It still does. So, sorry, I'm interrupting you, but
No, because I just want to get to. I love what gets built because this is a journey for me. That's what this whole podcast began as, and it's finding out me and and what I can take from the individuals that allow themselves to be exposed in a public forum. You know, there may be 80 views right now. Watch in 2 years. There's going to be somebody that watches your story or watches my story, and it clicks. Yeah. And I like that, and I like the thought of that. So I like to get because I have mine. Like there are things even from my childhood now that still walk with me, and it's crazy. At 54 years old, you know, why is that there? It's not, it doesn't consume me, but it certainly can rise its head up.
yeah.
And then I used to love to, and still do, to peel that onion back and find out where the root was. And I heard something the other day that, you know, when you have authoritarians in your life, you have to be there. It was actually talking about empaths, and a lot of empaths are born because they had to be hyper vigilant about those that were around them, because you had to read the twitch of an eye to know if you're about to get backhanded, or if you were disrespecting, or if you were about to be embarrassed, or if mama was about to go off. And then as you get older, you hone that skill. And I went, yes, because that was a lot of my childhood. Good people, good intentions,
Right.
but just, you know, thumb on in many areas. And, I remember times, you know, walking in and you stood still. You didn't move until you understood what the atmosphere was
You
going
had to read the room.
Read the room. And that was early on. That was before 10, you know, you're learning these skill sets. And I think as you grow up, you know, I think you only get better at it and faster and smarter to the point that it's subconscious. And I still do it, you know, nowhere near as much, you know, but I have to be careful. Did you find that in your life?
Yeah, definitely. And I grew up in an environment where there's no cracks in the china.
Yeah.
Everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
You're good. And so I grew up in an environment where I felt like I had to be perfect all the time. And
Yeah.
if I wasn't, I couldn't show it.
Yeah.
You know, it was always, and that still rides with me a little bit. And so what I was going to say a little bit ago is that, I did some cool things in my life. I've had a great life. I've had great experiences, but I do them and then I put that trophy on a shelf and then I quit. For example, I did an opera at the Met and then I quit.
So you were at your peak.
I went to Parsons. No, I was just in the chorus. I wasn't anybody.
Right.
But I went to Parsons for interior design. I had my business. I did that, and then I quit.
Fear of failure.
Fear of failure.
Fear of being exposed.
Yeah. I went to
Ooh, now you're getting into some stuff.
the Aveda Institute in New York City. It's a bit of a long story. So
We have time.
so I married someone who ended up becoming very successful.
Male, female.
Male.
Okay.
And so we moved to Maryland. We bought a house in Maryland because of a job that he got.
That ain't cheap.
And I ended up sitting on my ass for probably almost a year. And he was like, "You are officially invited to get a job. Like you're going to be depressed, sitting in your drawers, watching TV,
Right.
whatever." So I started a design business. Well, then 2008,
I know it will. Corporate Wood, you went under in
real
2008.
estate tanked.
Yep.
Yeah. So I started working at a bar. And it was a young guy who had inherited money and he started a bar. He didn't know what he was doing.
Huh. Dave.
Yeah.
Dave was in the bar business. That's how I met him.
Yeah.
That story happens a lot.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, I started bartending and I said, "Let me take over." And he said, "I can't afford to pay you what you're worth." And I had managed restaurants and stuff in New York City. And I said, "I don't need more money. I just want to fix this. Like,
You want the control.
Yeah, it's just bad. Just give me all the control." And so he did. And all of a sudden, 6 weeks later, we made a profit for the first time. And we just stood in the office hugging and crying.
What was the biggest change you think that made that profit so fast?
Getting the staff up to date. Like he sort of hired all of his best friends from high school. So it was like a
Dave,
clubhouse.
jump
Oh, yeah.
in anytime. I mean, is that ringing a bell?
Oh, yeah.
How many
'Cause
of you watched Fail? I mean,
There's been a
he's a
few.
lifer, and
there's been a few, but
Yeah.
it's absolutely right that when you get someone that owns a restaurant and they have friends that want to be involved, a lot of them feel like they need to bring their friends in.
Yeah.
And it's not the best thing for business at all.
no.
No, it was like a clubhouse for
Yep.
these kids. And I was like, no.
That's where your
And they were-
profits go
You're
and
not gonna be
everything.
late.
Were they drinking as well with them?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean,
That's where the profits go.
Yeah.
We sat with an owner.
Yeah.
I don't want to mention it because I love him.
And then I ended up doing this. I ended up thinking we can get more involved in the community and get busier by when I first started working there, this is before I took over, I would work 5 nights a week bartending. And every Thursday night, whatever I made Thursday night, I would donate to the food bank on Friday. And I never told anyone. It was just my thing.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
When did you start? I mean, was it like some years that you were doing it? You just quietly food bank?
No, as soon as I started, I thought,
Anybody homeless that you knew or just Okay.
No,
You just wanted to do
Wanted to help.
I wanted to do something good. Yeah. And
I like that.
And so, I'd make $300 on a Thursday night.
Yep.
And I would go the next morning and I would go and buy food and I would drop it off at the food bank. And then I thought, what if everybody that works here gives $5 a week? That's it. It's less than a drink.
Yeah.
Were you happy at this time? I mean, inside and all, were you?
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
felt.
mean, obviously you're fighting fears and all that because you're human, but
Yeah, yeah.
you
No,
you felt fulfilled at the
I
moment.
did.
How old were you?
Um, mm,
No, I'll let you get back on it.
40 something, 40
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
And I thought, what if I tell everybody? Like, and then all of a sudden you're teaching 18-year-olds how much $5 can make a difference. You know what I mean? So we started doing it. So everybody that worked there gave $5 a week. And then we ended up putting, it was a coffee shop, bar, restaurant, live music. It was everything, you know?
Wow.
So we put this coffee, it was Illy was the brand, and we put the coffee cup and said, Frederick Food Bank. And people started dropping money in. So all of a sudden, we changed the entire food bank. And they said the great thing about it is we get donations at Thanksgiving, at Christmas, but the summer sucks. Like we're dry for food. And I said, okay, we're going to change this. As a community, we're going to change this. Well, the other thing is I'm not stupid.
Right.
So we called the newspaper
Right.
and said, we're doing this.
Get
There
free
goes your
publicity.
publicity.
Yeah,
Publicity
that helps.
and and so there I was on the front of the newspaper changing the food bank. And I was like, what else can we do, guys? What else can we do? You know? So the other thing was the restaurant was completely 100% wind powered. So it was windmills.
In New York?
No, in Maryland.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
You're still married right now.
yeah.
Okay.
And so then we publicized that. Cafe Nola is 100% wind powered. Then we got a farm. And so we tried to do all the employees wanted to work on this farm and do local everything. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like we were trying to make
Local
specials.
market kind of a thing.
And we couldn't do it completely because
Right.
it was so crazy busy, but we did do our specials from our farm. So it was farm to table.
Right.
You know, so we were, you know,
No one understands that term down here.
yeah.
How long did it take me to sell those signs that said farm to table?
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It was nice to give, and it was nice to teach young people that how much $5 a week can make such a huge difference.
How many employees did you have at that point?
30 something. It was.
Were you doing the hiring and everything, that recruiting and all?
Hiring and yeah, and it was a great crew. It was a really great crew, and
Because there was a purpose behind it, right? That
Yeah.
that brings a
they
little
wanted
different.
to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what I said was, no, you can't be late to work. Don't backtalk me ever, and don't sass me, and we'll be fine. Just don't don't come for me.
Yeah.
Because I'll take you down.
Yeah.
And somebody wants your job in this town. I promise you. You know, and they were great. They were all great. Yeah.
How long did
it was such a fun.
Is
time.
it still going on or?
It is still going. Yeah.
Good.
But what ended up happening? Sorry, we're on restaurant talk.
I don't
sorry.
care. That's what I love about this show.
So, what ended up happening was we were living there and got a phone call. Will you come work on Spider-Man on Broadway? And it was a phone call for my husband, not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're on a farm. We're doing farm to table.
No. It was like a little downtown. It was almost like a little Georgetown.
Okay,
Like,
I'm with
like
that. But you got your apron on. You're doing all your stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the phone rings.
Yes.
And you've been out of it, and he's been out of it for how long? So obviously he was involved.
He was still in it.
Okay, so he's still in it.
So here's how that happened.
That's what I need. I need backstory.
This is going to be a 4 episode. So
we do long episodes.
So I was working there, and I got an offer to go work on a tour of a TV show called Yo Gabba Gabba. I don't know if you know that show.
I do not.
It's a kids show. Yeah.
Okay.
So I go on tour with Yo Gabba Gabba. The producers from Yo Gabba Gabba ask Mike, my ex, to take over production management on Spider-Man because it's not going well. They've spent $50 million. The show's not together.
Is it a tour or is it at one location?
It was in Broadway.
Okay,
And
so this is
they toured
off Broadway or Broadway?
Broadway.
Wow.
So they tore this theater apart to make this show
Sure.
work. And it was Julie Taymor who did The Lion King.
Right.
She
Wow.
directed and did all of the, so, and she's demanding and she's famous and she's
Sure.
all of these things. And so it was his job to like pull her back. So
Oh, that's fun.
he said, we'll come back to New York if you pay our rent for a year. And they said, okay.
Wow, that's a good little chunk of change right there.
Yeah. So he said, go find an apartment, whatever apartment you want.
Okay, so hang on a second. We may have to go a little further back. So where did his clout come from where they call him to find that?
So,
I mean, obviously he was in the business. Did he do Broadway shows?
he did.
Okay.
So we met doing summer stock in Shawnee, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I thought he was, oh shit, sorry.
You're okay. It happens.
I thought he was running this theater in this little Pocono town.
Right.
And he was doing all the sets, all the lights, everything. He was doing everything at this theater. And we all thought he was straight. And so a girl from the cast asked him out. And he said, oh, sorry,
I'm gay.
I'm gay. And she was like, well, you don't have to be insulting. If you don't want to go out with me, don't.
They didn't take
And
it.
he
as
was
a-
like, no, I am. And so I was like, oh,
okay.
that dude could build me a house.
Wow. How early on did you know that you were gay? Is it one of those revelations,
No,
or
it's
is it just a progressive?
it's one of those things where you sort of know, but you
Yeah.
don't want to know.
Yeah.
So you know early
But you know it's not normal, especially 80. We're talking 80s
in the
here.
80s. Yeah.
And some of the
In
young may not, but they see it through TV. But I mean, to really live the 80s, it was open. I mean, fag was a word that was, very
Yeah.
open to use. And
Yeah, and I remember being a teenager and going to St. Catherine's right down the street and just praying that it would go away.
wow.
I don't want this. I just want to be a normal dude. I just want to be a normal dude. And whatever normal means, but you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I just wanted to be one of the guys.
But gay isn't just a physical attraction to a man. Am I right on that? Is that the first way that you know, or is it just different tendencies?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think
I mean, when you start noticing, a guy or a young man or an athlete, and,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at the cheerleader, and
yeah.
I mean, is it
Yeah.
around that
And I'm
age
looking
for
at the
you?
underwear ads.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
It's
Yeah.
in the Sears
We're both
catalog.
on looking at underwear ads. We're just on different pages.
Different pages.
That's funny.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
And so but I
Yeah.
remember.
But what do you do with it?
Yeah, I remember trying to pray it away, like
Yeah.
or
Your mom knew,
or
though.
thinking this is a phase. This is a phase.
Right.
I don't know if she knew. I mean,
Okay.
I'm sure she did, but boy, she
No.
did not want to. She did not want to. And I was never flamboyant.
Right.
I was
Right.
just and I can remember even through college, like when I was in high school, I dated the captain of the cheerleading team.
Especially, I mean, Orange Park.
Yeah.
It's back then.
It was a big school,
Yeah.
and I was
It was country.
real cute.
Yeah. I've seen your pictures. You absolutely.
I'm
That was
just
awesome.
kidding. No, so I dated the captain of the cheerleading team in high school.
Openly?
my senior year. Yeah?
And no kickback at Orange Park?
No.
Well, kudos to Orange Park High.
No, you know what? I was funny.
That's it, really.
I dressed well.
Yeah.
I was friendly with everyone.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I ran into somebody recently, and she said, the thing that I remember most about you is you were so kind to everyone. And I was like, you know what? That's what I want to be remembered for. And I knew, I mean, you know at some point in your life when you're signing modeling contracts and you're moving to New York and you're doing it. You know that you're attractive. But it was more important for me always, always to be smart
Substance.
and clever and
Yeah.
funny and a kind person.
Yeah.
Like it didn't
Was your dad as kind as your mom?
it-
Because you got a lot of kindness in you. It almost has to come like a double barrel from mom and dad.
my whole family is
I know
kind.
it. Yeah.
My whole family is kind. Like, and that's the thing I just said to my brother the other day. I said, the thing that I love about going to dinner with all of us the most is how nice everyone is. Like, everyone says things. My sister has more money than God,
Right.
and she is the nicest person. She always says please
Yeah.
and thank you and all of those things. They're just nice people. And the other thing that comes up for me is I remember growing up, because it's Christmas, we don't buy each other gifts.
Right.
I mean, what am I going to buy her?
Exactly.
A helicopter? So we pull names of a family and we give them Christmas. And I grew up that way.
That's pretty cool.
And I think that's
Yeah.
better.
Did you grow up middle class, upper middle?
I would say lower middle at first,
Okay.
and then it moved up.
Yeah. Because dad's grinding and
They,
mom's
they
working.
worked. Yeah.
Dual. They both worked.
They both worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were a latchkey kid.
Yep.
I mean, that's 80s kids. Be
Yep.
home by the lights out.
Yep.
And
Take
your
take
neighborhood
the beef out of the fridge.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Your neighborhood. You have a lot of kids there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you play? Obviously, every day you're out.
Yeah.
Good at school and everything. You just.
When the street lights came on, you went home.
Yep.
But he went home and did homework. You and I didn't do that.
No.
Okay.
Homework got done at the period before they had to be turned in.
Yes, I'm watching the fuzzy HBO to see if I can catch a nipple.
Right.
He's in his room. My oldest, I remember, he's an intelligent man today. Applied mathematics was his degree, and I mean, I got him early on, like flashcards and things that helped me, through my school, because I went to FSCJ as well. But there came a point, because he was in that ACE program, this real fancy program at Fleming, and by the 8th grade, I couldn't teach him. There was nothing I could teach him, and he began to be self-taught, and that was. And then after he graduated, then he had to deal with Sydney, and he would help teach her because he had already gone through.
But
college.
knowing him, he's the one that would sit there until he figured it out.
Yeah, but he also waited. So he'd be up he's like me, he's a night owl. So I mean, like he and I both, he's home right now, and so it'll be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning that, we'll both be, hey, what's up? Go out and smoke a little bit, talk. He goes back to his room, I go back to the couch with the dogs, and off we go. So that's the sidekick we go to sometimes. So you're in New York, you are growing in that area. He's grown and gets a call back. They accept the offer. And how fast do y'all go? I mean, how fast do y'all move back?
God, it was probably weeks.
Yeah, because if they're making that kind of offer, they're like, we want you now.
Yeah.
So, and how long did that run last?
Well, when the show opens,
And that's Yo Gabba Gabba.
no, that was
No, this is Spider-Man.
Thank you.
Spider-Man. He ended up starting to work for this company called Spiegel World, and they did it's tent shows. So it's in a tent,
I like that.
but it's a circus,
Yeah.
and it's incredible, and it's comedy based, and there's circus acts, and it's so funny, and blah blah blah. And they were breaking some union rules, if I understand correctly. And he walked away. He quit. He was like, "I'm not."
Because union's important for y'all.
Especially for him, he's in.
Is that the guild, the guild?
Actors Guild.
Actors Guild?
Not the actors. He wasn't an actor. He was a stage hand.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but he was.
Yeah.
He was in. He was in. Oh God, what's it called? It's one. It's something one, which is New York City,
Right.
and he got godfathered in because somebody, the president of that union, knew who he was and said, I'm letting you in this union. Well, this is a union that you have to be an apprentice for 10 years and know somebody and do this and do that. So he got sort of like pushed in. So it was a huge deal,
Right.
at that time.
Right.
And so he wasn't going to break those rules.
Yep.
He has insurance, he has, pension, he has all of these things. So he quit. And then they ended up calling him back and they said, okay, we're willing to follow the rules, yada, yada. And then they ended up opening shows in Vegas. So Cafe Nola was failing. They called me back. They said, can you come back? We don't know what we're doing again.
To actually be the
GM
producer?
of that,
Okay.
yeah. And so I ended up going back to Maryland, and he said, I'm going to be away, so it's a good time for you to go back, save this restaurant, whatever. So I did, and then I'm there, and I get a phone call from him, and he says, how do you feel about living in Vegas? And I said, pretty shitty. How do you feel? And he said, pretty shitty, but we're going to make a fortune. And I said, well, a fortune sounds good. And so we agreed to move to Vegas. And so
him on another
he had another contract
on the strip
with Spiegelworld, yeah.
Okay, got you. Okay.
And
I'm sure with a name like that, they're all over.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we ended up packing up. We had an apartment in New York, an office in New York, a house in Maryland. And so they made a sweep with the moving truck and picked all of that stuff up.
This is in a span of what, a year and a half, 2 years? Or a little bit longer?
After Spider-Man?
Yeah. No, I mean, from the time, he took the job in New York and then.
No, it was months.
Months. So it's like, bang, you haven't even unpacked and you're moving again.
Yeah, it was quick.
And that's really the industry. You go when you strike when the iron's hot.
Yeah. So we packed all of that stuff up. They picked it all up. He found an apartment in Vegas, and it was so scary because we don't drive. You know what I mean?
Because you've been in New York for so long.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
So in the same day, he found we moved into a 2-story loft, which was gorgeous and incredible. Bought 2 cars and a motorcycle. He's a motorcycle rider. And so I was shitting my pants. And I was like, how are we going to furnish this thing? And then the moving truck was 21 days late or something getting there.
Oh, so you just got an empty house.
So we're sitting in camping chairs, watching a tiny little TV. I was like, this is the most expensive camping we've ever done.
That's awesome.
And so we lived in Vegas, and again, sat on my ass for a while, and he was like, get a job. So I had a connection somehow. So I became the GM of a restaurant at the Cosmopolitan Hotel. And I hated it.
Why?
Absolutely.
Too much management of people.
One more bachelorette party, and I was gonna fuck.
You just got tired of the public.
God.
Well, everybody out there just goes to party.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're probably on their worst behavior.
And they're wanting the experience of the
Everything.
Hangover.
Yeah.
The Hangover movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? They think that's what's gonna happen,
Right.
and it's like, no, you have to behave yourself. And so, I ended up quitting that job and sat on my ass again. And then he said, what do you want to do? You have to do something.
Were you searching when you were sitting on your butt? Or were you
No,
just...
I was just like, eh.
Okay.
And so I wanted to work at West Elm,
Right.
which is part of Pottery Barn and Williams-Sonoma and all those things because I had gone to design school at Parsons. Oh, I skipped that part, didn't I? I went to design school
Back
at
up and go. Yeah.
Parsons in New York City. When I was done singing, I went to Parsons for interior design. So,
How long did that take to go through the interior design?
well, I went through it for about a year, maybe a year and a half. And then I got a phone call. Will you go on tour with Riverdance? I don't know if you know that show.
Yeah. Who doesn't at our age?
So
You do river dance?
no, I don't.
Okay.
I was a company manager for
Okay,
that.
gotcha.
And so I was like, the money was too good, you know?
Right.
And so I quit
I
school.
mean, because they were blowing up at that time.
Yeah. I quit school and I went on tour with Riverdance. So anyway, I had gone to Parsons. I had some design experience, yada, yada. And so I said, I want to work at West Elm in Vegas. So I got there and I was just like a sales associate. It was like $12 an hour or something stupid. And it was fine. And then they found out that I went to Parsons. And they were like, hold on. And so then they put me as design manager of the store and then another store across town. So I was doing the visuals,
Right.
you know. So I designed that store and the store across town, and they were flying me to Jersey to do like the catalog and the floor set, which means we decorate a store for spring,
Right.
and then they send the photos to everyone and say your
Right.
store has to look like this.
A planogram.
Yeah.
Sort of a.
So yeah. So
Well, what is now today a planogram, but yeah.
yeah. So
A diagram of the store.
yeah. So I ended up doing that, and then I was in Vegas and I was drinking my face off and lying about it.
When did that start?
Probably my late 30s is when it started bad.
During the just sit around phases?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Idle hands.
Or maybe at the restaurant. Maybe at in Maryland.
Yeah.
And I was lying about it. And so finally he came and he was like, look, I can deal with you having a problem.
Yeah.
We can deal with the problem, but you have to stop lying to me about it. And I couldn't. I was embarrassed. I was humiliated and didn't know why I couldn't get my shit together. And so finally had enough. And that's what led to divorce. And I was living in an apartment in Vegas, and my sister came out.
And he was really the breadwinner in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah. Oh
so
my
your
God.
lifestyle
He made a fortune.
Your
Yeah.
lifestyle
Oh, yeah.
shifted.
Yeah.
So that's a rude awakening.
Yeah. We had a meal prep chef. We had a maid. We had a housekeeper. Sorry, maid is I guess a derogatory term.
Whatever.
So, yeah. So I move into a shitty little apartment, and my sister came to visit, and she was like, "We got to get you out of here." So my brothers.
She was already successful in her business and her ventures.
My brothers are all
okay.
My brothers and my sister are all successful, and so she paid off my rent for the rest of the year to get me out of my lease.
Wow.
And my brothers flew out. We loaded a U-Haul. They drove it back. My sister and I flew back, and that's how I ended up back here. And my mom is getting on, and she's been diagnosed with dementia. So I take care of her. I live with her, and I take care of her the best I can.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't, this thing is all about the guest gets to, really dictate where we go and what we don't go. And I know Dave's dear mom has dementia. Now, how long has she been diagnosed?
Diagnosed only maybe a month.
How long is
we noticed?
You noticed it coming before they diagnosed it.
You did.
Yeah, for sure.
How long ago before? I mean, you started noticing things.
It was a fast, the last 6 months has been so fast.
Oh, it's been, like I said, we moved out of our condo a year ago because I used to live with my mom. And it got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. So she moved in with my sister. But how fast it's gone over the last year is unbelievable.
Yeah. she's not understanding when it's day or night. And we bought these giant clocks. You know, they're like the size of a computer
And it tells you
monitor.
what day it is, what the temperature is.
Yeah.
I mean, but she was thinking you were her your
Husband.
father who had passed
Yeah.
away.
They think a whole bunch of stuff. Like to this point, like you're saying, they don't remember anything. And there's a weird thing called sundowners,
Yeah.
which is when the sun starts going down, the dementia kicks in for the day. And you can literally see a change. It's like there's a switch coming, and all of a sudden that switch goes.
Do they
And-
have normal sleep patterns?
No.
Do
Mine
your-
doesn't.
Does
My mom
yours?
doesn't.
She goes in the room at night, and she stays there. I mean,
Yeah, that you may be up or whatever. So, I mean, are there things you can... Yeah, absolutely. Go. This is live. You just go. Take it off.
Just
No.
go? Okay.
Yeah. No, we talk about you while you're
I'll
gone.
be back. And
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about that because it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you just go to the restroom. Come back when you're ready.
50 minutes.
Yeah, he's lived a life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, from New York, he flew
He's
through...
lived a good life.
He flew through his 20s. I'm curious. Are y'all curious? I'm curious.
You're going to find out.
I'm gonna find out. Shh. He'll watch it. He'll laugh. Or maybe he won't watch it. I'll tell you what. This has been an absolute blast.
Oh,
For
without a
me,
doubt.
Yeah. I should.
It's so interesting learning about people when we do this.
I mean, to live with a guy who has now was that on Broadway Spider-Man?
Yeah,
So that was the Broadway show Spider-Man.
that's what he said.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the years.
Yep.
I want to get the years of that as well.
Well, there's been a couple different Spider-Mans
Yeah,
on Broadway. So I'm not sure which one. I think he said it was Spider-Man 3.
yeah, and that's some of the things I'm talking about, like Broadway. And I mean, I don't spend much time in New York, so but he's already in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And now has lost it all. Now he's going to a little turdy little hotel.
Now,
think-
do you know how long he's been back here?
I don't.
Okay.
No, we'll find out. We'll stick on the dementia for a minute because I think it's important for people to know.
Just watch your phone there. You don't step on it.
Yeah, your phone fell right there. That's the beauty of podcasts. When you got to go to the bathroom, you just go, hey, I'll be right back. And you get up. Dave's gotten up before. I've gotten up because I don't take a dip out right on camera. You know, y'all are welcome. All 5 of y'all that are watching. No, we'll tell you, we certainly appreciate each and every one of y'all. I don't even like to say it up front because I wait for those that'll go deeper in with us because I'm searching for people. And it's the people that are on a journey that you're on, that I'm on. Hit like, hit subscribe, share. We will grow. We will have these guests back on as well as they grow in life. And that's sort of the fun thing. That's what a lot of these notes are. There's files being made on you, young man. And it's just things for me to keep up with as we grow. You know, because some of them are going to be failures. You know, I mean, what Dave's going through with his mom, I mean, that, you know, he lived with her for years. That was his best friend. And in a lot of ways.
Oh, for sure.
I certainly know you got fed good,
Yes,
mama's
I did.
boy. So I even did too when I went over. So I love her, and I hate seeing her in that arena. For me, I have to back up because I'm not even part of the family. So it sort of sucks for me.
Yeah.
I have to let them, you know, take care of her. And I don't know because my mom is still vibrant. And are you answering questions or are you just playing along? Is she in that moment where she asks a lot of, you know, Dave, you help me. I mean, what's the words? I mean, what does your mom do? There's
Like
constant-
my mom, she'll ask a question, but in their mind, every time they ask it, it's the first time. So when she gets it set in her head, like she still thinks that she has a house to go to, or she thinks she lives in New Jersey. So she'll call me 6 times a night saying, well, I want to go home. Where's our house?
But she's a little further along because y'all were diagnosed how long ago?
We diagnosed her about a year ago.
I mean, that's a year. And I remember, so you're seeing it pretty quick.
It's similar in that somebody asked her the other day, "Do you know where you are?" And she said, "I'm in somebody's house. I don't know whose." And we're like, "No, this is your house." Or there were a string of like 3 days in a row where she said, "Do you know where your dad went?"
My mom always, why don't you call your father?
Yeah. And
You
he's
know,
passed
where's your
away
dad?
18 years ago or something.
Call and talk.
Yeah.
She went to my aunt's house in Orlando, and she's like, well, if you need anything, just call your father. He'll be there.
Because your father passed away,
18 years ago.
Yeah.
and you just said 18 years.
Yeah.
Not that that means exactly
Yeah.
anything. It's just, it helps others because, I mean, this is a fast moving, and there's nothing really to slow it down that you have come across. Or have you? I mean, is she taking supplements? Is there things you can do to?
Well,
And I know, listen, we're not doctors. This is just y'all's personal experiences and what doctors have told y'all.
I'll tell you what, that stuff
and
they
trial and
talk
error.
about on TV that helps
Yeah, because I've
keep
seen
their
you
anger
some
to a minimum. That stuff does work.
Really?
Because
Is it
they get to-
medicine?
yeah, it's called Rexulti. But we see when she started taking that, she went from getting angry to being more calm.
Obviously,
But-
check with your doctors and everything.
Yeah,
But,
but
I'm
it's
sure
it's an everyday just trying to explain everything to her.
how much is that? Like a one pill a day, and it takes care of it for 24 hours? Is she on any?
they gave her, the neurologist gave her something. It was maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was affecting her stomach. And so
Yeah.
I got home one day from work, and my mom's tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she raised 5 of us, and she's no bullshit. So I went in, and she wasn't where she normally is, and I hear her shouting from her bedroom. And I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "No," which she would have never said.
Right.
She would have said, "I'm fine. I just need to lay down," or something. You know what I mean? And I said, "Okay, let's go. Let's go." So we took her to the hospital, and then she wasn't on that medication when she was in the hospital for those 4 days or whatever, and she felt better. As soon as we got back and she started taking it again, she was feeling bad. So I said, "All right, I'm taking her off of this, and I'm going to call them and ask them, if there's something different." So now she's on something different. But it was messing with her stomach, and
They call it a practice for a reason. It really, and even the doctors, if you really push, I mean, they don't know everything. They can't. They can't, and so each person is different.
it's
So
going to
it is-
react
yeah,
differently. Yes.
Dave with his diabetes, my gosh, you've gone through so many different,
Surgeries
and trial and errors with the medicines
Oh,
and
yeah.
which medicine interacts. I've seen him fight, moving around because there'll be an interaction and it just puts him in a lethargic state. And then all of a sudden he's waiting to get on different pills and it picks it up. You can see a difference.
Yeah. She's doing weird things like she said to me the other day, who was sitting next to me watching TV last night? And I said, "Well, I was for a little while." And she said, No, it was somebody with black hair. And I thought it was Dean, who's my brother. And I said, "Well, Dean doesn't have any hair anymore." And so then I didn't know if she was remembering Dean as a young person, or she was thinking of my dad, or, I had a friend that was living there for a while. I didn't know if she was thinking of him. It's hard to know what they're thinking and what they're, you know what I mean?
Does yours go about? I mean,
Oh, yeah. I was sitting there with my brother-in-law and my mom. And the next day, we're like, we talked to you about this yesterday. And she's like, well, he wasn't even here.
Yeah.
I was like, it was just the 3 of us. She's like, nope, he was not here. And they will dead set fight you on that.
Yeah.
That they believe
And they
it
teach
was
you-
not them.
don't they teach you not to really get in the argument with them?
They try to teach you to just go, okay, that's fine, because they're not going to remember it anyway.
Right.
But the frustration just kicks in. You can't help it sometimes.
You feel guilty about the frustration?
Sometimes.
Do you have frustration yet? Are you there? Or are you just like frustrated at the disease?
I'm pretty chill in general.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty okay, but I did get frustrated today actually because I was it's a few days before Christmas.
Yeah.
It's my day off.
Yeah.
I have shit to do.
Yeah.
you know? So I wanted to go and do this and that and the other, and I wanted new jeans, and I wanted to get a gift for my sister and all this stuff. And then I get home and she said, "Did you find your jeans?" And I said, "No, I couldn't find the number that I like, and I didn't feel like trying on jeans today." Well, if you didn't feel like trying on jeans, why were you gone so long? You were gone for hours.
That agitation.
And I'm like, I am 54 years old. In my mind, I didn't say
Right.
this, obviously,
Right.
but, you know, I'm thinking, I can go wherever the fuck I want, you know? Like, but now I'm on restriction. Like, so, yeah. And I got frustrated by that. And I said, "Mom, I do have errands to run on my own. It's my day off. Like, I have things to do." Well, I know.
And I guess there comes a time shortly, with your journey, that that explanation doesn't work anymore.
No.
Is that right? Or
yes
can she
and
still,
no.
or can she still process that?
She can. I mean, she'll be like, "Well, your sister went shopping." You know,
So
she gets upset sometimes that she doesn't go, but we had to explain to her, like, when we want to go shopping and just go grab one or two things, we can't take her because going to Publix and grabbing two things, if she goes, turns into an hour and a half trip.
Yeah.
And it's just, you can't do it.
So are there things that they say? I mean, because I know it's your mother and it's your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Are there things that they say that can help prolong it or slow it down? Or have you found anything? Obviously,
My
haven't.
mom's is, like I said, it's dementia, and hers is just progressive because she smoked her whole life, so the blood vessels to her brain are continuing to narrow, and her blood's not getting to the brain to let her brain function correctly.
There's a certain amount of guilt for me, and I have so much guilt that I could start my own religion. But so 2 years ago, I had a liver transplant, and I think they scared her to death in the hospital because they were like, "Do you have a walk-in shower? Is there somebody that can do this? Is there somebody that can do that?" Well, turns out the day after my surgery, I got up and walked, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Walking to the bathroom." And they were like, "Oh my God, we've never had somebody that could get up and walk the day after. You have 100 staples in your stomach."
Right.
Like, and I was like, "Oh no, this is not winning."
How long were you on the list?
I wasn't on a list.
What?
So
Okay.
that's a whole nother story. We're gonna be here all night.
We're going to talk for a little while. Yeah. I mean, this is important.
So
Because I have a friend now, Ty Ackerman, who is, they're begging, her dear wife has come in here and, not begging like, but this is her husband is begging for people. They had 4 people that got tested and there was not a compatibility. I'm not a doctor. And so I'm watching her. It's a 3 to 5 year process. He's starting on dialysis. And so I know that, well, at least for him, it's a process. And so you weren't even on a list.
So here's my liver story.
Yes.
So I was drinking myself to death.
What year? Just ballpark. It doesn't have to be
2
exact.
years ago.
Okay, so 2022.
Yeah. So I went to, it was Mother's Day. I remember so clearly. I was with my entire family, and my brother Ross, who's the next one up from me, looked at me and said, "You don't look well."
Mm.
And I said, "Right after this, I'm going to go to the hospital." And so I checked myself into Orange Park, and they said, "You need a liver transplant. You have to be sober for 6 months and then go on a list." And they said, "We don't think you have 6 months." So
Were people in the room with you, family, or just you?
Yeah, no, family was there, and they were sending in hospice. They sent in 2 different hospice groups.
Were you numb? Because it just came like you're there and all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. And I turned to my sister and I said, hospice equals death to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right?
I mean, right? That's what I think.
And so she said, me too. And so he said, we're going to send you to Shands in Gainesville.
Got him out of Orange Park.
They're not going to be able to do anything
They've
for
gotten
you,
better. Yeah.
but we're going to send you there just in case they know more than we do. So I went to Shands, and they did all kinds of tests on me, like lung, kidney, they're making sure, whatever. And so the doctor comes in and he says, there's nothing else wrong with you. You are in perfect health,
But your kidney.
but your liver is done. And
Purely from drinking.
yes. And he said, I'm going to save your life. And I'm going to break a lot of rules doing it. And I said, okay. And he said, sorry.
Don't apologize for that.
He said, you probably have 2 to 3 weeks for us to get this done. So
He had your attention, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
He said, go home and wait. And I said, I'm not going home. And so I went to a rehab center around the corner, and I waited. And it was literally like a mile within the
Right.
hospital. So I went to rehab, and then 2 weeks later, I get a phone call in the middle of the day, and she said, no matter what, when your phone rings, you answer it. And I said, okay. And she called back an hour later, and she said, we found your liver. Can you be here in an hour and a half? And I said, fuck yes.
Miracle.
Yeah. So
Is your family involved? I mean, they're around. They know where you
I
are.
I called them and said, they found a liver for me. They're gonna do the surgery tonight
At Shands.
at Shands. If you guys want to come down. So they came down, and the surgery was supposed to happen at 9 at night.
That's only 2 years ago.
Yeah,
What month?
July.
Not even 2 years, right? Oh yeah, it is. Okay,
just
sorry.
over.
Okay, just over. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. 2
Go ahead.
years and a half. Yeah.
Okay.
So my family came down.
And this is COVID, or are they able to visit you?
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't COVID.
Okay,
It's same time I was in the hospital with my leg because I
Okay.
did mine in September of
I
2022.
know, but they stretched it out on some of them. Is why I'm asking.
that's
so
true.
I know it wasn't COVID, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and so my family came down, and they said the surgery is at 9, and then it got delayed.
Right.
So it ended up happening at, I think, from 2 in the morning till 6 in the morning. It was, so what they do is they cut a giant L. So I have a scar from here to here to here, and they pull it up and they lift your lungs and they take your liver out and they put a new one in. And so
Yeah, because it's on the back. It's on the.
it's here.
It's like underneath.
It's right here under your rib cage, right
Mm.
here. So my family got a hotel room, and then yeah. And then the next day I got up.
Which doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I guess you were just healthy,
Yeah, that's what they said.
even with
I
all
mean,
the drinking.
Yeah. I was, I was healthy because I always had trainers my whole life. Like that was part of my life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I never didn't have a trainer.
Yeah.
So I was fit. I was
So
way more fit than I am now. But
physical was really important to you.
yeah.
I mean, it really made
had to
you.
be,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, did it become? I mean, did it become obsessive?
No,
Did it ever overtake you? You just okay, good.
no. I just had to be,
Yeah, I mean, for your
I had
field,
to be a certain size, and I had to be a certain this, that,
Right.
the other,
right? They don't want to.
But it's interesting because that carries over now that I'm a little fat. I'm like, don't comment on my weight. Like it was my job for years to be what everybody wanted me to be, and now I don't have to be. So don't talk about it.
You're comfortable where you
Because
are?
my brothers make, they make jokes that
Yeah.
I've gained weight or that I've,
Yeah.
and it's interesting too, because I can go back at them. Like I said, there were 5 of us. So my mom, we would go into stores and my mom would say, if you boys touch anything in this store, I swear to God, I'll shake you till you're bald headed. And they're all bald.
That's funny.
And so
That's
I said,
funny.
I'm the only one that listened. I'm the only one that listened.
All right, so you have lost it all. I mean, technically, I mean, you've
Yeah.
downsized your lifestyle,
Yeah.
and it's not where you wanted to be.
No,
Your age in this range, 40s? Are we in our 40s now?
I'm 54.
No. I mean, when this happened,
No.
you were in your
I was
30s.
51
Oh,
when,
so you-
when I got my liver transplant.
No, sir. I'm jumping. I do that sometimes.
Sorry.
I'm jumping back into when you lost, when y'all got divorced, and you then moved out on your own.
I was probably 48, 49.
Okay, so that wasn't that long.
No, it
So,
hasn't
so
been
you
long.
spiraled pretty. I mean, can I use the word spiral?
Sure.
Okay, you spiraled pretty quick,
Oh yeah, I was in a whirlpool of shit.
and
Couldn't swim
went
out.
pretty long. That was. I mean, if that was then, I mean, that's 5-6 years of really hard drinking. I mean, you wore that liver out.
Yeah.
Were you doing it while you were in New York as well? Could that have been some of the reason why maybe you missed some opportunities?
Yeah,
That sucks.
of course, because
Yeah,
what you end up doing is you end up waiting tables trying
Yeah.
to find the next gig.
yeah.
And what sucks is that you
Once you get labeled or classed, did they know that you had a drinking problem?
no, I didn't
Okay.
have a drinking problem.
Okay,
then.
gotcha.
It wasn't that bad then. It was just socially then.
Right.
But I think what happens in New York is you have to make a certain amount of money to live there.
Yeah.
So you have to wait. The big joke is actors are all waiters.
Right.
But you have to be
Right.
to pay for your rent, to pay for, and then so you audition during the day and then you go wait tables at night. It's exhausting. It's a dog's life.
And now they got these micro apartments that are like $3,000 a month, and I mean they're just like I don't even know if they're
400 square foot.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
400 square feet. But it's a dead town right now, is it not? I don't go. I haven't been in years.
I haven't been.
But just I'm a YouTuber, so I'm on there a lot, and watching downtown. There's this guy that rides a scooter, one of those electric bikes,
Uh-huh.
and he rides the electric bike through New York, and has been in he'll go down an alley, and there's another one that does it in California, and I mean
Delivering stuff?
no.
Oh,
No,
okay.
just sort of. It's like the Razor. I don't know. There's a guy that does it in Jacksonville, and he does the East Side, and he'll go to all. He runs around. He's actually well known, but it got me. You get to see a little bit of the New York side, and what I don't see. Not the glamour and the glitz, and so in your mind, did you never really hit the peak for what you had envisioned for you?
No.
Did that carry with
Never.
you for a long time?
Of course. You feel like a failure.
Yeah.
I moved to New York to be the next George Michael.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You ever think of the people though that you might have influenced that might become the next George Michael?
Sure.
I remember the day that it hit me that because I always thought that I used to sign yearbooks going, hey, keep this signature because it's going to be something someday, and it's not, by the way. But then I realized the day I was an adult that I realized that I actually was raising the ones that were going to be seen.
Yeah.
And then there he sits in front of 60,000 people, sharing the gospel and his story, and invoking emotions that make people move and grow. So you are a hard drunk right now. He's left. What's next? Do you turn back to not mom and dad, but the family?
Well, my sister came out. That's when my sister came out.
Paid
to
all
visit,
the-
and
paid
they
the week.
took me-
I mean, yeah.
They took me back here, and then at that point,
Was it the rehab to get sober, or was it to get mentally, or was it a good rehab? Did you find that
it was a great rehab. It was
because I have horrible stories and they're hilarious, and we'll do that on another podcast.
okay.
So I'm not a big rehab guy for me, but
No, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great facility. It's called shit. What's it called?
Local?
Something Recovery Center.
Hmm.
It was affiliated with UF,
Okay.
and it was right in Gainesville.
Oh, in Gainesville. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
How long were you there?
70 days.
Wow. You had good insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to put me out at like 21. I knew I'm self-employed, so I had a pretty good idea. My insurance sucked. Wow, 70 days.
And they paid for my transplant as well. So
You're
yeah.
kidding me.
No,
And they haven't dropped you?
no.
That's a great insurance company. I'm not joking.
It's Aetna, and
Okay.
I design now out of Pottery Barn. So I switched from West Elm to Pottery Barn because I moved back here.
So we're in the same business.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I moved back here, and my sister and I flipped a house, and then I moved back to Vegas, and they had given my job away. But Pottery Barn knew who I was because they used to do these conventions.
Yep.
Williams-Sonoma used to do these huge conventions, and they would set up an entire apartment, and they would pick the furniture, and then they would ask me to style it. And so I would go into Pottery Barn in West Elm, and I would pull things from their stock room. So they knew who I was. So they called me and said, "We heard you're back in town. Will you come work for us?" And I said, "Sure."
Small. That's a small industry then, because you're not even in the industry right then, right? I mean, were you working? Okay, you were with them. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And
Yeah.
so then I transferred to the Pottery Barn here at Town Center.
Gotcha.
And what they do with me here is send me to people's houses
Yes.
to design.
Yes.
So,
So you're one-on-one.
yeah.
What do you do first? I mean, how do you build that rapport with somebody? Or is it already built in the store and through? I mean, because Pottery Barn is such a valuable brand.
Yeah, it's
You're sort of established as you walk up.
it's sort of built in, but how I end up building a rapport with people is I don't make commission.
Right.
So I don't get paid to bullshit you.
Right.
I'm not here to sell you a used car.
Right.
I want you to have a good design, and I'm really good at it. So I'm not going to force you to order something. I'm not going to pressure you to do something. I'm going to make sure. And there are times when I go into people's houses and I say, "You don't need anything. You just have everything in the wrong place."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's move some furniture." And so we'll move everything around, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, this is where it was all meant to be." And I was like, "Yes."
Isn't that interesting, Dave?
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
my life right there. Dave will sit here and watch me rearrange stores, and I mean, it'll look one way and it'll look totally. I love merchandising.
Yeah.
It's fun. The flow of traffic, how to drive it, the color, selections, and where do you focus on for your the trends, or do you just sort of let Pottery Barn they drive trends? What they bring, we get about 3 or 4 years. The lighter color woods, y'all have had them for 6 years now.
Yeah.
They're about 3 years now. Or 2 years. They're starting to trickle into my kind.
Yeah.
We're still on the whites and the brown tops and the shabby chic and
Yeah, I mean, we do study. We study other stores. We
Yeah. Do you privately go in there and shop as well? I'm not trying to blow your cover or anything. I used to go into Rooms to Go because they are masters at merchandising junk.
Yeah.
And I mean them no disrespect, but I sell solid wood furniture, and it's a different breed. It was what Ethan Allen used to be before they sold and all that.
Yeah.
But they are very good at how they merchandise.
Yeah.
And so I would go in there and look, and that's where that little wall comes from, and the brick came from them, and the high lows and how to keep the eye entertained through the walls, line of sight, how to break line of sight on purpose to make them go, "What's around there?"
Yeah.
I mean, there's a science to it.
Yes, and I got really good at that when I was the visual at West Elm.
Yeah. See, that excites me. That kind of
the
industry.
airspace, like what's going on in the air, like is there too much, everything.
So let me ask you this. So this, Dave, and you'll be the one that'll be able to tell me. That's why I love you being here. You'll be able to verify this. Are there any heterosexuals that do what you do with Pottery Barn? Or is it mainly females and...
Queer eyes.
Queer eyes. Yeah, I like that. I'm saying no.
I don't
Okay.
I don't know any.
Okay, I agree. So I could literally be the one redneck heterosexual
Oh, you without
that
a
can
doubt.
put color together. I mean, that is like
You without that, I always joke about it, but you would be a great interior designer.
I've always, if I lost everything, I would get interior design because I go sit down with the country boys, and then I could translate to the furniture world and the trend world. And yeah, it's funny in here. Sometimes the ladies will be here, and I talk better with the ladies than I do the men. And the guys will be lost, and I'll sort of translate to what she means is, and if it doesn't work, you just lean over and go, listen. What it means is, like, if it's a table, you're going to get that plate that you always want just to eat. It's going to be there on this beautiful table she's happy about. So she's going to cook it extra good. Oh, but people have certain visions, but they got to trust you. I mean, you're walking in. Do you walk in as the authority, or do you sort of build that?
Both. I think.
Because you've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah, I think you have to have a certain amount of confidence in that I can do something you can't.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially when you see the way they have it.
I'm
laid
sure
out.
there's those customers, though, that still want to control everything.
Yes.
Isn't that funny? They call the expert, and then they
And
begin
then
to
they
question
wanna-
the expert.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The Real Housewives of St. Johns County will say, you know, they watch too much HGTV and they think they know something. And I'm like, look, I'm not here to bullshit you. I'm going to tell you if it's wrong.
Yeah.
And it's wrong. So, you know, take it or leave it. But what's interesting is a lot of people, most people, I would say, trust that it's not their thing. You know,
That's why they've called you.
Yeah, my sister's one of those people. You know, she can make money in her sleep, but she knows shit about design. So she will literally hand me her credit card and say, "Go, do it." That's not what I'm good at. And when I need my finances fixed,
You go to her?
There
I
you
go to her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for the most part, it works out well. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I can turn on charm. You know.
Yeah. Do you get juiced when you get the space right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you still get to step back? Because I still enjoy the little things I do in my house. Don Marie could care less, and I will enjoy those for about a good week. I'll be staring at them.
Well, that's even in here when you redo the floor and stuff. You
I know.
step back and look and you make
know.
comments about it.
But I mean, because there is a science to why people buy, and
Yeah.
that's why they come and call for you.
Yeah.
And I've never been in that world because I don't have an interior design degree, but I know a lot of interior designers, and it's sort of comical some of the things they try to do that we were doing for years, and
Yeah.
because we do a lot of custom building and everything as well with, and so we have some interior designers that will come in and have us build stuff for them, and
It's.
so
I think. I forgot what I was going to say.
that's okay. So, do you do the look forward and where you'd like to be and that kind of stuff? I mean, you're in interior design. It's obviously something you enjoy.
Yeah, I do. I get a lot of jobs on the side. To be
I was going to
honest
say,
with you.
because multiple streams of income is a big thing for me. I lost everything at 44. It was due to no fault of my own.
Yeah.
And with corporate would you and all this. And I remember when this one guy, Yarbrough, told me, he said, multiple streams of income. And I got into roofing, and I got into, now a bunch of them bombed, but I'm always looking for that next.
Yeah.
Real estate, interior design.
Yeah. I get hired a lot on the side because
Personal or at commercial buildings? Like for commercial companies?
houses.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
right.
houses.
Party Barn wouldn't smile on
Yeah,
that.
and so and they probably don't, and we just don't talk about it. But what happens is somebody will come in and they'll order all their furniture and they get it in there and they're like, well, this doesn't look like the catalog. This doesn't look like the store. And it's all this kind of shelving stuff
Right,
that they
right.
don't know how to do that
Right.
I can do in my sleep. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so I'll say, hey, I'm going to come over on Tuesday. This is what I charge for that. Go to the closet where I know you're hiding things that you can't throw away. You're not ready to get rid of, but you don't know what to do with. And bring that to me. And then I'll design their shelves.
Right.
And then they're like, oh my God.
Do you turn a lot of books out with just the papers out now? Is that a
I don't.
okay? I see that in staging
I
a lot.
put them flat a lot.
Yeah.
And I put them,
Yeah.
like I'll do different,
Yeah.
but I'm really good at accessorizing. So
Yeah. That's something that I had to learn because in the would you furniture business was my bread and butter, and there was a lot of stores I didn't own them all, but I did run them, and we had no merchandising because we didn't have a lot of small what now this industry calls smalls, and when I got in this business, it was a different breed because the merchandising became 3-dimensional.
It was so different walking in the Would You on the other side of town once we put this decor up on the walls.
Yeah, because
it was like a whole different
it
store.
looked dead.
Yeah.
And so,
and now I can't even imagine going back and taking it down and looking.
No, I can't. I can't. Once you go big and you really see what it does, because it invokes emotions out of people. You know what he does. I mean, the angles and spacing. Do you see it when you do the layouts? Do you see it as a what's the piece of paper? It's all gridded.
Graph paper.
Yeah. Do you see it as a graph? Can you see the angle? Like, do you have 3 main angles or do you have multiple angles that you play with?
It depends. I mean,
obviously the space.
So now I remember what I was going to say before.
Okay,
which is, a lot of times nowadays I get a lot of design jobs in Nocatee or new neighborhoods. And so you walk in the house and you're like, I've been in this house before because I did your neighbor's house.
There it is. Yeah.
So they're all the same. They all look the same. And the work is done for you. So
you know what fits in there with your catalog.
Yeah.
Now,
so
they require you to sell Pottery Barn only?
Pottery Barn, West Elm, Williams-Sonoma.
Okay, gotcha.
All of that.
Okay, gotcha.
But you walk into a bedroom and there's a plug here and a plug there. So that's where the nightstands go.
Right.
The bed goes across.
The house will
the bed
speak
goes
to you.
with it, and the TV is already plugged here.
Yeah.
It's already built in. It's like it's not designed really. It's like which bedroom set do you like?
Right. It's almost like you have a cookie cutter, and it's like A, B, or C.
Yeah, it all fits.
Yeah.
It's all. But then you get lucky and get a job in Avondale or Riverside or
where it's a
San
unique
Marco,
home,
where it's like difficult and you have to like put it in your computer and map it out and try to figure how things fit. That's exciting to me. I mean, these cookie cutter houses, it's like they do the work for you. The builder does the work for you.
No, he does. He tells you where everything goes.
Just pick the bed you want.
Is it a king or a queen? Then you'll know how to lay it out.
Thank
you have a 5-drawer dresser, a mirror, and one nightstand or 2. Okay, and then you just go through all your
See you later.
Yeah, those are, but that's fast money too, though.
It is. Yeah.
Well, but you're working for a larger corporation, and I know you love that. Does there ever an urge for the smaller side of it?
I wouldn't say I love it.
Okay.
It provides me insurance.
Right.
Really good insurance.
Okay.
And so if I decided that I wanted to go out on my own, it's a lot of self-promotion. It's a lot of, putting myself out there. It's Obamacare. It's, it's all of those things.
Especially with the health issues and everything.
Right. So
do you feel stuck?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
Is that frustrating?
It is frustrating. I think, and my coworkers are like, "What the hell are you doing here, dude?" Like, and I'm like, "I'm here because of insurance." I'm sort of, I am stuck. And
can you find fulfillment while doing that elsewhere?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these side gigs that I do and whatnot, and
but outside of work, do you have a moment somewhere in there where you get your recharge?
Few and far between. But for example, last year, so I did a tour of Greece in 1999, and I played Danny, and the guy who played Kaniki and I have stayed in touch. And he was this, it was so funny because they were terrified to put us together. He's this like straight dude from Omaha. He's like a big, big beefy thing. And we were like this, you know what I mean? Like when you're with somebody 24 hours a day,
you get to know
you
them.
get close. Yeah. And so we would laugh and joke, and he has a great sense of humor and all this stuff. And there's so many funny stories about him, but he and his wife own the Savannah Theater. and they have 4.
Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, so they have 4 kids, and when I came back, they said, "Hey, do you want to come do a show?" And I was like, so I go to my boss and I say, "Hey, my friends want me to do a show in Savannah," and she was like, "Hell yeah, you're doing it." So I think it was last year I went and did Drowsy Chaperone, and that brought me a lot of joy. Singing again, being on stage again, all of those things.
What about local theater?
Well, I'm going to look into that.
You know, Fleming
and-
Island has a very vibrant theater that I enjoyed going sitting on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and they do probably what 9-10 shows a year.
Probably at least.
They're right
Yeah.
there across from Fleming Island High School.
It's funny too because people are like, "Can you still sing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I haven't lost. I
Yeah.
think I'm better now than I was 10
Yeah.
years ago. To be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Your vocals, you've already
Yeah,
taken care of them,
yeah.
and
yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, I'm a rock star in the car. But,
What's your favorite genre of music?
um,
That's where I get to know you a little bit.
it's such a mix. It's so funny. I listen to a lot of Broadway, obviously. I like a lot of pop music.
Our generation, like the 80s.
Oh yeah, God,
Okay.
I love all that music. In fact, I was the 6th member of Duran Duran at some point. At least I thought I was.
Oh my gosh.
No, but I listen to modern, like Billie Eilish. I love, and Miley Cyrus's sister, whose name I can't. Noah Cyrus.
Yeah.
And then I recently got introduced. I've never been a country music person.
Right.
Never, never, never.
Welcome.
Right. Welcome to Florida. So I was recently introduced to a little bit of country that's not so country.
Right. It's a little more modern.
Yeah. And I really love it. And I was like, God, I would have been a really great country singer.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Zach somebody.
Zach Brown.
But-
Zach Bryan.
Zach Brown.
probably.
Zach
No,
Brown.
But Zach, the other one, wait,
Zach Brown or Zach Brown?
Zach Bryan.
Zach Bryan. But Zach Brown
Yeah.
was on tour with us for a little bit on Yo Gabba Gabba, that TV show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, there's a local scene.
Yeah. So I just need to.
Do you play guitar?
No.
Okay, we gotta get you a guitar.
I need to be. I just need to get out there. It's fear.
Yeah.
It goes right back to where we started.
You ever do
it's-
any karaoke?
No. Never.
Okay, well, that's where we'll start. We're gonna go in karaoke.
I'm terrified. of
Down the
doing
road to
karaoke.
crack.
I'll do it
Crackers.
with you. You know the first one we're gonna play?
What?
Find it, Dave.
Was that
Find it.
the first song?
The first karaoke song that he and I will sing. Since he likes country, we got one for him. Hang on, you'll hear it in a second.
It's so funny. I sang for a friend recently, and he's a country boy from Green Cove, and he goes, "Well, god damn, I knew you'd be good, but holy shit."
Did you find it?
I'm getting it.
Oh, he's learning to pull it down. We're getting better at this. So this is like my favorite go-to song back in my drinking days.
What's it called?
Well, it's more fun if you don't know and it just
Okay.
starts
All right.
playing.
All right.
It's almost like a tease.
Phone's ringing off that.
So this will air Tuesday. I'll have it up about 2:00. But I want to stay on you for a second.
Okay.
So just hit play. Did you do camera and like minimize us?
I want to come back. I miss you.
Oh my gosh, do we have to hear the whole thing?
Travis Tritt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope that is.
Come on, Dave. You say you were wrong to ever treat me alone.
And now you're sorry. You're lonesome and scared.
He sings a lot better than I do.
Super country.
And you say you'd be happy if you could just come
Well, I did have a
back.
mullet.
Well, here's a quarter. Call someone.
There you go, Dave. Thank you.
cares.
So it's called Here's a Quarter.
Call someone.
That's funny.
Um,
So that's my karaoke. If you and I stand up there, we're going to play. That's how I warm up my vocals. Me.
I have to learn it.
Yes. No, I'll sing what you want. What's the one that the guy used to do in Tampa all the time? That was oh my gosh.
The mullet of all mullets.
Okay.
The
No,
one
I think
in
I got
Tampa.
I think I got him beat. Now see, I need to be able to throw this up here. That's what I need. So he should be able to text that to me. I should have the phone tied into the, and that's the
then
one
you
thing I got to
could
ask
put it up
Brandon.
there.
And then because my phone will hotspot on this, and
Yep.
I can throw it up there. So I'll post this on one of the. Send this to me, and then I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. We're gonna post it on the all about the grind. We will post a picture of his mullet and my mullet because I think I only have one picture of mine, but it's good. I look good. I even had a jacket on. It was a church thing. So
You walking through Brazil all the time. You got all them pictures of your mullet.
yeah, it wasn't as long though because by that time my dear wife and her mama were slowly cutting my mullet up because I got free haircuts because she was and I lived on Phillips
Take
Highway.
an inch off, so they took 2.
Yeah. No, I never said take an inch off. Just trim. It was the side you cut. And now my son, he plays for baseball for the Savannah Bananas and all. So
Oh, he does?
yeah, that's the well. He played
I
for.
love the Savannah Bananas.
Okay, well, he played for the Party Animals, and he has now become a Texas tailgater. So they have 4 teams now, and they're starting a professional league. It's actually called the Banana Ball Professional League, BBPL, coming to your town near. They'll be playing in a lot of majors.
They came here.
Yeah.
And the tickets were so expensive.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Because I was like, we were going to do like a
Yeah.
sibling night. And
Yeah.
I was like, they're like $85.
They're not. They're still the same $35, all you can eat, everything.
In
But-
Savannah.
No, here. But hang on a second. What happens is they get bought up. They go to secondary sites that jack the price up. He actually, the banana guy, Jesse, that owns it, he did a TikTok or Instagram explaining that, and he explains that. And so go Google it and see. This is something that we would pull up, down the road. And but he explained that. So they're trying now. I think in the major league parks, it is more. I think it's like 50. Or something. Don't hold me to that exactly. They've got it on their website. So, but the Texas Tailgaters is one of their newest, and so they took about 4 or 5 party animals, and so in a couple weeks, I don't know exactly when. It'll probably be New Year. We will have Tender Thomas here, who's like one of the gurus of the party animals, and beloved by a lot of young baseball players and cute girls. And then Zach will be here, Bam Blankenship. So I'm excited to sit down with them too and chit chat about baseball and life and just their journeys and the
Nice.
grind.
Yeah.
But
Man, we're going to be here for hours for that one.
yeah, well, I mean they'll have a lot of stories. But anyways, I like where you are. So I mean, has it gotten there? I mean, do you feel like you're over that hump, or you're still just clawing your way up? Because you've been at it for a while.
Yeah. I don't know.
Will you ever be satisfied?
I don't know.
Do you have
It's-
satisfaction in you right now, or did you ever? Were you ever satisfied?
I'm grateful
Yeah.
for a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Am I satisfied? No.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to make that happen, or I think, if I had to intellectualize it, I think I have to rewind and learn to love myself before seeking it from other places, seeking approval, seeking, and I do that a lot. I was trained to do that. I was trained to seek approval and to, for everyone else to tell me who I needed to be and what I needed to be and what size I needed to be and how handsome I needed to be and all of those things. And I think 2 things. I think the fall is hard. When you grow up and you're an attractive kid and then all of a sudden you're 54 and you just look like a fat dad. And Yeah, I think I
But-
just have to be okay with that.
But if there's worth deeper than the skin, doesn't
Right.
it carry you? Do you have that in you? And I'm not
I-
trying to like open up all that,
No. I know.
because I deal with it too. I mean, like I have a ton of insecurities,
Yeah.
that I deal with, and
Yeah.
I always tell people, listen, it's not the dirty bums you got to be worried about. It's the clean cut guys, because often they have more to hide than anybody. That guy's okay with who he is.
Yeah.
There's often that I'm not okay with where I am in my life, and I got buddies retiring.
Yeah.
They're done with a good life. I could have been a firefighter and been done.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing that I'm most proud of is my sense of humor
Yeah.
and my kindness. And then I'm just a good guy. You know what I mean? Like,
Is monetization of that a big interest in your life?
no, I don't have any.
Yeah. I mean, so your next opportunity, how do you go get it? Do you wait for it? Does it come? It's already in the works. Are there ideas? Or are you just content enough because of the health insurance and everything to settle? Because that sounds like settling a little. And this is not a bash on
No, it
Pottery
is.
Barn in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Great people, but we all have journeys in life. Those at Pottery Barn that were in
Yeah.
middle management, they had a desire to go bigger. So this isn't like bashing anything. If you're going to do it, that's a quality company to do it with.
Well,
So.
the issue is that I can do my job in my sleep. And that's a bit of a problem because then I have
I agree.
no
You're not
ambitions,
challenged.
I have no, and it goes back to fear. I'm
Okay.
scared to take a chance.
What's funny is we all think we're unique. In a lot of ways we are. But I approached buying a building. You've been around the process many times. I approached buying a building for 6 years. And I would get to the cusp and I would get so scared that I would kill the deal.
Yeah.
I'd ask for something I know I couldn't get. I asked, whatever, because I was afraid of, and I guess I finally got to the fuck it. And I just said, fuck it. I'm diving in. And I dove in. And yeah, I don't know everything. And I learn as I go. And now I'm okay with, of course, I was like this. This part I was okay with. I never mind asking questions. I never mind looking stupid. I didn't care what, that part I never cared about. But I did care what people thought in business, in life. Is he a good dad? Is he a this? Is he a that? And, for me, they validated me. And as I learned to validate myself, I need less and less of that validation.
Yeah.
But I can lose it as fast as I get it. It seems like it's a daily freaking journey.
Yeah.
I hate that. I want the pill.
Yeah. Yeah. My sister sent me a quite poignant text pretty recently because I still lean on validation from social media, from posting a good picture of myself, from, all of those things. And she's like, you're missing the point. Like, you're missing your value.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cares about your good hair. Nobody cares about your blue eyes.
Yep.
Nobody cares. Like, you have so much to give to the world, and people can learn so much from you. What are you doing? Like, stop doing that. And it was
But it's so
something that I
easy to say
read.
stop.
Yeah, right.
So how do you stop?
Right.
I mean, I don't know that I have the answer.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this journey is about, is how do I stop giving a damn about what other people think?
Yeah.
And I think it does get into value, and the way for value for me.
Yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the little victories for me. So I've learned to break it down into little pieces. I eat in little pieces, and so I sometimes I'll just set small goals that I know I can attain on a first grade level, just to go woohoo, and then I gap them bigger and bigger and bigger, and like anything else, that muscles begin to grow. I mean, like you said, you can do it in your sleep, and yet you can take a rookie to go do what you do, and it'll be disastrous, and it'll take 3 times as long, and so that's just something that you've honed your skill at.
Yeah.
So if I hone my skill at finding me, I had to learn catching me, not my kids. I had to learn catching me doing something right instead of catching me doing things wrong. I started noticing the nice thing God was doing, because I can be an ass, And I've been an ass, and I can be an ass in a day. But I also, while I was an ass that day, there was kindness that I did that day. Maybe I reached out. I was thinking of Dave. I was thinking that, and just, hey, how you doing? Where you at? And so I never gave to this day, I don't give myself credit for all the positive things I do.
Right.
I see every negative.
It's an interesting thing that we do to ourselves, I think, and I've talked about this a lot, that you go through 98% of your day and everything's good.
Yeah.
And then one shitty thing happens.
Yep.
And that's what you take to sleep.
Yep.
Why? Why do we do that to ourselves? Let it go. You know what I mean? But we all do it. I had an amazing voice teacher in New York City.
Have you ever let anything go though?
No.
Okay, so that's me neither. And so I was sitting here thinking as you're talking, to answer your question, I'm saying I don't know. So I don't let things go. So I have to come to some kind of resolution. And I think my brain, and I think people that are doers in life, and I think you have a doer when you find your passion. Because when you're at your passion, it's not even work as in anybody else. But I have to find that thing that makes me tick.
Yeah.
And if I lose that gap, and I've lost it, burnout can come very quickly. And when you get burnout, depression's right behind it.
Yeah.
Depression's is a real deal. Go ahead.
My brother said something interesting to me pretty recently. He said, Matt, everything you've ever done in your life, he said, I'm so jealous of you. Everything you've ever done in your life, you've been amazing at. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want?
I felt like asking you that. I really did.
Yeah,
and sometimes I feel like asking me that. And I don't know. Oh, I almost got a cramp. I've been doing a lot of work at the house. I don't know that that's a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah. But I've gone back to school 4 times. I've done this. I've done that.
I got you.
I did hair at NBC. I did styling, music videos, and fashion, this, that, the other. I've done singing. It's just like my brain is so scattered. And he's like, what do you want to do? You can do anything.
It's almost like picking 3 to 5 and zeroing in on them.
Yeah.
And how do you get your brain to do that?
And what I tend to do is I'll do something. So one of those times when I was bored and sitting on my ass, I ended up going to the Veda Institute in New York City to do hair. And then I got hired at NBC to do hair.
Okay. So, I mean, you just have the ability to get in great, positions.
Yeah. So when that ended, I put that trophy on the shelf and I walked away from it.
But you could have built on that.
I could have. But what if I failed? So that's what
But
we
you
were
were
talking
already
about earlier.
okay. Hang on a second. But you were already doing it.
Yeah.
And doing it successfully.
Yeah.
To the point that they noticed. So so your brain gets really illogical in that point, in that area.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And so I have all these trophies on the shelf. I did an opera at the Met, and then I quit. I did hair at NBC, and then I quit. I did, it's...
Your resume looks good. How long before you're quitting? Is there a rhythm to it? Is it a year? Is it 2 years?
I think it's job related.
Because Pottery Barn, you've been there. Well, again, the liver's got you.
Yeah, Pottery Barn I've been at that Williams. It's all under Williams.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
But it's been 10 years, on and off. I did take 8 months off for my liver.
Right.
I did quit and go back when my sister and I flipped a house in St. Augustine.
And flipping, I mean, because that's a variety.
Yeah.
Oh, well, of course, 2008 and everything. That flipping, there wasn't much to do.
Well, it was after that, but the issue was my drinking got in the way.
So you're early sobriety, really?
Yeah, really early, and I had.
And you're ready to go too now. Do you have that or no? Are you there?
What do you mean?
You have ideas sparking.
Yes, but I did relapse in between my liver transplant and now.
Oh, okay.
I did have a bad period.
Okay.
I was dating somebody sort of toxic and somebody that would only show emotion when they were drinking.
Right.
So then it's really manipulative on my part, but I wanted them to drink. I wanted to be drinking with them because then they would show affection. So
You'll take it anyway and get it.
it was a really
Even negative.
fucked up. It was a really fucked up relationship, and it was somebody that told me I was beautiful, that told me I was this, I was that, I was, I just
What you wanted to hear.
yeah, and knew how to use that.
Yeah.
Used it.
Well, narcissists are really good at
Yeah.
it.
Oh, he was amazing at it.
Yeah.
So, and now that's over. I haven't spoken to him in months, but
Can you find your value in yourself on your own right now?
I can work towards it.
Yeah. Have
I
you?
do. I mean, like,
I agree with that. Finish that because I agree with this. You're not like totally devalued yourself. You know that you have worth.
Yeah, no.
You know you're
Yeah.
good at Pottery Barn. But
I know
there's
that
something
I have
in
family. I have great friends. I
right.
have
You have a
amazing
loving
friends.
family. You've made
Yeah.
that very. Yeah, I mean, they're very supportive. You're
Yeah.
always around them. But with all the good,
Yeah.
there sat who was the comedian we were talking about? And I'll probably go to him. Nano.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. There sat
Yeah.
Robin Williams with everything in the world you could think of. The world loved him. He was a kind man. He was generous. He was funny. He was annoying and funny. And he was successful at it. And he ended up,
Yeah.
it wasn't enough,
Yeah. Yeah.
And for people that can push and never find the value, I always step back and take a moment to enjoy that small move, that set of the space that you're laying out and taking a picture and I walk it from all angles. I walk it from every door and is every space right? And when it flows right, I don't know, it sort of like springboards me to the next little, thing to do. But I also know why I'm doing it. For me, and Dave will recognize this, it's the end consumer. I know what this does for the end consumer. So it's really important that I give this the best opportunity to be seen. And so I get excited when I see the end consumer. Are you ever around to get to see people enjoy your layout?
Yeah. For sure.
But it sort of sounds like no matter what you do in business, there's a hole for something else.
Yeah. It's interesting. I started to talk about this earlier, but I had this amazing voice teacher in New York City, and there was a time when I was a pretty good singer.
Right.
I'm just going to say that. I'm not bragging.
Right.
I'm just saying. But
It's just facts.
She was incredible. And there was a day when I was trying to sing this song that I really wanted to sing well, and I just wasn't feeling good about it. And she said, "Let's get a piece of paper and we're going to fold it in half, long ways." And we did. And she said, "I want you to write down all of the good reviews you've gotten, all of the good things, all the compliments, all the everything. And then on the other side, I want you to write the bad. Like if somebody said something, if somebody, if something didn't go right or blah, blah, blah." So the good side was short and the bad side was long.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "I'm calling bullshit on you right now."
More good.
Yeah. And so we started filling it. We started doing it together.
She asked questions. You had to admit, yeah, I am good at that.
Yeah. And so she said, we tend to focus on the negative things. And it's also interesting because when do you mind if I talk about AA?
No.
For myself?
No.
So when I started AA, I was very against the idea of God.
Right.
I didn't believe in God. I didn't want to believe in God. I was, my dad had passed away, and when I was in the hospital and I thought I was going to die, I remember thinking, oh, this is a good time to pray to something. And so I thought, I'm just going to talk to my dad. And that's what I did. So because, when you're in the hospital, people are in and out all day. I mean,
I've seen that with David.
I had tons of friends in and out, my family in and out, blah, blah, blah. And then the lights go down and there you are.
Yeah.
So I started talking to my dad. And when I got into AA, I remember being so against the idea of you have to believe in something. And I was like, don't even try it. Don't even start with me. I don't want to hear about it. I'm not interested. I don't want any God bullshit in my life. I don't.
Was your family religious growing up or
Yes.
not? Okay.
Yeah, very Catholic
Okay.
and very against who I was as a human being.
Heard.
You
Yeah.
know. So anyway, so I decided to try that exercise with that same idea. So I folded a piece of paper in half and I wrote down all the things that I was angry about religion, about what I was taught, about God, about, all. So I wrote down all the angry things. And then on the flip side, I wrote, what if I did believe in God? What would I want from that person? Unconditional love, acceptance. I just started making a list of all those things, and I showed it to my sponsor, and he said, "That's your God." And I don't give a shit if you call it your dad or a coffee cup. It doesn't matter. That's who God is. And I was like, my mind was blown. You know what I mean? And so that simple exercise I've used so many times in my life, and it works. I mean, it's just one of those things,
Right sizes you.
What's that?
Right sizes you.
Yeah.
Let you know that I'm not in charge anymore.
Yeah.
So I get to let go.
Yeah.
And then I get to focus on the things that will bring me joy.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how to get there sometimes because, I got to like myself first. Trusting others and trusting their vision didn't work for me. Scared the stew out of me. You want me to trust what you say over what I see.
Right.
And blind faith wasn't for me. I think what helps me is the people that tell me, listen, I don't care if you see it. I don't care if you understand it. I need you to try this.
Yeah.
And it has to be someone I respect that I've seen, whether it be in sobriety or whether it be in business or life. You have to have traits I want. And if you have those traits, I'm willing to attempt. I think that's the difference in me today, where I was very stubborn in who I was, and I was growing warped as it was in many areas. I didn't see it because I didn't have the self-reflection I thought I had. And then, you mentioned sponsor, mentors, having men in my life that I can filter ideas through that will look me dead in the eye and go, that's a stupid idea. I get that motivates me. I go to lunch at times with some older guys, and I get to talk life with them, and they get to tell their stories, and so it gets me out of me. I was doing a little on the other side when you were talking. I was sort of circling the path in business. Let's see, work, growth, purpose. But it was all about people, and it was all about someone else. I found that to almost be toxic in my life at times. Because I have to be very careful of my purpose of why I'm out there for someone else. Is it really to help them, or is it just for me to go, wow, look what I've done?
Right.
I mean, when I had my heavy drinking, I was in Brazil, and I remember we built a church. Now, I wasn't drinking down there, but I mean, I was heavy in drinking, and I was a mess. And I remember going there to help, God build a church. And I'm sure I was blessed, but it wasn't for me. I was doing something to make me feel good, and I was empty. It didn't work, and I had many more years to go before I had hit my gift of desperation, my first God. I knew the God of the Bible and all that stuff. But when you're looking at, a life of chaos, and you have the ability with a man to walk through, and they guide you, and everything they say, miracles happen. And it makes you want to follow them a little bit more,
Yeah.
And so a relationship is born. Now, have you been with the same sponsor and everything?
I have had 2.
Okay. And, hey, listen, who cares?
Yeah.
So do you filter everything through the program, the 12-step program you're speaking of and all?
Not as much as I should.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? There was a wise man that once told me, and there it is right there, finding the negative. Now watch this way, finding the positive. All I'm required to do is the very best of that program that I have the ability to do for that day. That's a victory. That's
Yeah.
not a failure.
Yeah.
And so learning to go, oh, I may have sucked in a normal person's eyes, but I did everything I could to the best of my ability. And I get enjoyment here and in business off the end consumer. That's what
Yeah.
jumps me to the next
Yeah.
customer. If I got to deal with the corporate side and the stuff you deal with, I think I definitely wouldn't. It's not my thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's the people that I work with and the people that I help that keep me.
When you see the smile at the
Sane.
end and it
Yeah,
all lays out
yeah.
right, and you've solved the problem.
Yeah. And my boss says it all the time. She says, she said, I think you're the most talented person I've ever met, and definitely the most talented person here, because you say things like somebody will come in and say, I don't know what to do
Right.
with this.
Right.
And I say, let's go shopping. And she said, I love when you say, let's go shopping. And then all of a sudden, it's
Ideas
solved.
come.
And then they come the next day and they're like, everything was perfect. Everything you picked, we did this. We solved this problem, And so she said, I love when you say, let's go shopping.
Is it the problem solving and you were the one that could solve it that you love? Or is it that you were able to just help another learn it? Or do they learn it?
I don't know that they learn it.
Yeah.
I think it just, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like I'm bragging, but it makes sense to me.
You got to speak your truth.
Things make sense to me. Like
Yeah.
colors make sense, and I live in color. And
Yeah.
my siblings make fun of me all the time because I'm like, you get to this point and there's something blue on the right, and you turn, and they're like, do you have street names at all? And I'm like, no. And then, we were going to Gainesville one day, and I said, there's a corner where everything is red. And they were like, is there a name for the street? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And so I go, here it is. And sure enough, every store on that corner, it was like Wawa and Coca-Cola and this and that. And everything was
funny.
red. And I said, you turn where all the red stuff is, So color makes sense to me, and it always has. And I study color. I still study color.
Does Party Barn have a part of their division for teaching, like a university of some sort?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
They have a training program for what you do?
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Would you like to tweak it?
It's weak.
Yeah.
And I end up,
we can do an ebook here.
we had oh yeah.
Oh, we can sit right here and do an ebook, and then you sell it for $2.99. 40,000 people,
Nice.
10,000 people.
We they do teach. They do have programs that aren't brilliant.
Right.
So I
Is it videos that you got to sit down and hit play?
It's like a mapping.
Okay,
program,
so a little
and you-
interactive.
You can put their products
Okay,
in
gotcha.
and map
Right.
it out and let people know, and I'm really fast at it, and so all the other associates are like, Matt, can you map this out for me really quick? But it could be better, and I end up taking, like, we had a new person start, and they were like, will you let her come with you?
But so you're
to
not
people's
necessarily,
houses.
you're not the trainer necessarily.
Somewhat.
Did they have somebody classified as a trainer?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, that's half. I mean, if you're gonna keep a what's the word? A brand, and no, if you're gonna be one voice, you got to be all working off the same measurement.
Yeah.
So luckily they have you, and you are the measurement. You can help fill in the gaps. I'm sure there's other quality people there as well, but
Yeah, there's
are they all young?
no,
Okay.
no, and that's part of the problem too. They've worked there for 20 years and they aren't interested.
I saw it
in
with
learning
Ethan
new.
Allen. Yep.
Yeah, they aren't interested in learning new programs and things like that. So, if somebody comes in with blueprints, here you go, Matt.
So do you have custom build abilities and everything? Can you like solve all problems, or do you have to work with just the cat? And I say just, but I mean Pottery Barn's catalog's huge, but you work mainly with, and then
Yeah.
William
Williams Sonoma.
William Sonoma.
So if I needed something like this built,
Yeah.
I'd have to call you.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Get Dave. Make sure he gets our card.
I will.
So you never know. So yeah, we do a lot of that and everything.
Yeah.
So you're a problem solver all day, every day, and yet 54 years old, you've yet to solve the whole inside.
Yeah.
But yet you solve everybody else's problems.
Yes.
And then you walk and they don't even know.
And you,
That mask is on and off.
So in the last relationship I was in, I think what someone like me tends to do is, if I'm fixing you, I don't have to focus on me. And
Makes
that's where the
sense.
problem lies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm focused on, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of everything.
So you wake up every day. How do you get it on you and not on somebody else? Have you found that answer yet? Meaning, how do you focus on your strengths, catching you doing stuff right instead of helping others problem solve? Now, you're going to have to do that regardless in business to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the mornings,
But
I have a routines that I have depending on my day and the night before.
In business, it's fine. It's my
Yeah.
job to
Yeah.
solve people's problems. And like I said, I can do it in my sleep. It's
Can it
not-
correlate to personal?
But it's personal. That
Yeah, but I mean,
that I want to take care
Right.
of everyone else.
So okay, I got you. But can that A to B to C, the equation that you have that works so well in business, can it not be applied into your personal life? Have you ever done that?
No.
What a neat little trial that would be. Take exactly what you
Giving
take.
me a task.
Yes, I would love to hear the results because this is a journey. So you take exactly the skill sets you have in business and that have made you successful in managing people and problem solving and time management and multitasking and all that, and you filter it into the spiritual side of your life where these are the things I have to do. Here's my goals. Here's my priority list.
Yeah.
And, I got to spin the plates on my spiritual life as well. And they crash and they keep crashing. And it's frustrating because, and I will use your story, you haven't managed that as long as you've managed what you've done in business. And so just like the rookie in your world, as you begin to do this, I think you get better and better and better. But you still make mistakes. I mean, in business, but you can fix them so quick and no one even knows it happened. And in reality, if the wrong piece came, they'll think you brought it in specifically for that spot by the time you're done.
Yeah.
Well, I've found personally that often the spiritual life journey is very similar. And so it makes sense to me. And I think that's why, running those ideas through other men, and it was all taught to me. I'm not some, guru. And I forget it. I may know the lesson mentally, but they gave me the ability to be unwilling and still do the task. Nobody else, church didn't give me that. Religion didn't give me that. And I have a love for Christ followers and Jesus and all, but I never found that. It was at another place, at a 12-step program that I found this fits. I found home. Yeah. This fits me. I get this. I mean, I got idiots around me and they're getting better and they're making money and they're success because we are creative people.
Yeah.
When only we're out of myself. So I've got to keep getting, this is me speaking for me. I got to keep getting out of myself. And I don't even know how to do that. I can barely get out of my own way sometimes, in life. And if we're really honest and if we're authentically raw, like, this all about the grind, it will always be until the day I shut down. Most people, everybody deals with some kind of trials in life. And then where do you get the grind to step up to the next? What has helped me is, for me, life is a war, and there's a guy much more famous than me that always said this. He was a Navy SEAL or his special forces of some kind. And anytime a problem would come up, he would always say good. because those problems, if you really go and track your life on and I've done this, I go 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and I track the problems, and then I track what happened, and I tracked where I am after that fact. And some of them were absolutely ugly, and they stayed ugly, and they stayed ugly, and all of a sudden, and when I start looking at my trend line, it's like a stock market. Sure, it goes up and down, but my absolute trend is up. And that's what I focus on. I don't care if I make mistakes. I couldn't care less what these people think. What I care about is, did I pick a nugget from you that allows me to take one step closer to being a better man, a better father, a better businessman, the grind in, the exhaustion of fighting the grind. Because it sounds like you've been beat up a couple of times. I think those pauses are pushing so hard. I got to come up for air.
Yeah.
And then you're ready to go again.
Yeah.
That's normal for me. Dave, how often I go fishing?
Not recently, but for a long time.
Yeah, but I look at you and I go, shh, I'm out of here. 2 o'clock, I'm gone. I'll be back at 3:30?
Yeah.
I go get me an hour, and I go, it's vitamin D for when I was running 50 some odd stores. There was help, but it was a big task, and I had a distribution center, and I was all over the country, and I was drinking, and I had to start dealing with the now and just the helping the next individual, and that would help springboard me to the next person. And there was many times I was really unwilling, and I would just do the task. And in doing the task, the willingness came. I can't explain it, man. I don't want to explain it because there's too many people out there trying to figure out why everything works, why when you do good to others, good things happen to you. Not right away. You got a liver issue, and you're a kind person. Why do bad things happen to good people? That's, for me, is the devil's rabbit hole. And I say devil, the whatever you want to call it. It's the rabbit hole. Because there is no answer. It's smoke and mirrors. There's no straight answer why. I believe we live in an imperfect world, and bad things happen to good people for no reason. It's how I respond to them, and I don't always respond well. I think with your support staff, that helps, the family and all. So any major ideas that spark in your head to get you motivated outside of the arena you're in today? I mean, what your greatest love is still singing.
Yeah.
And so even if I can't play baseball anymore. I barely probably could play softball anymore, and I love it. So me and Dave are gonna go coach a little baseball league. There's a lot of schools around here, dance, singing. I actually know somebody owns a musical schools.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What a coincidence. So, and it can be done on your side. You schedule on and off whenever you want to do it, and all of a sudden you're sitting with a young you.
Yeah.
This is what helps me.
Yeah.
And my journey is the youth. When I find that next Brett that I get, I may not get the gay. I may not understand, I can help in other areas, and I certainly will. I'm there to support. But maybe I can't help that feeling. But I know people that do. I would pick up the phone and I'd call Matt. And Matt, I got a young man I want you to meet. For me, if I can get that guy or young lady to realize there's potentials beyond what I'm showing. I don't even see them. I don't believe them. I didn't think I had any minimal value. I saw my good, but again, I was focused on my bad as a youth. So I saw all the ugly things I did, and I lived in a world where I had to be very attentive to what was going on, or else I was going to get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
That thumb on the kid, and so helping another and getting outside myself has been my greatest joy with the youth. And if I can get them just spark a little bit of an imagination, a little bit further than what they think they could do. But it's grown past that. Now it's just another individual. Like when I see one hurting, and I'm like, wow. And I see those skill sets that one has, and I'm like, there's all these ideas. There's never a greater time to make money in America. With the internet now and with this, and not like this is here to make money, but my daughter knows a lady who is a influencer. She lives down at World Golf Village. She's young. She graduated from a local high school right here, making big money, 800,000 followers. I don't know. I think what I've noticed about older people is when we quit dreaming and quit moving, we die.
Yeah.
And that is my greatest fear. It's almost like you're sitting in a bed and I'm not saying you technically, but I'll use Dave. When Dave was in the hospital, if you stay in the hospital long enough, you get bed sores, and eventually you're going to die. You got to get out of that bed. And he had to make a decision to cut his leg off. I cussed him that day.
Yes, you
That's all.
did.
I said, cut that effing leg off.
I was dying. I was white as a ghost.
White as a ghost, had no blood circulation. I
bone
was sick.
infection,
And he was having to try to make a tough decision. He already lost half his other foot, and so it was a tough day. And I think on that, because I don't want to be there, not physically.
right?
I don't want to be there, not able to make that decision, the tough decisions. And if I can make those tough decisions, well, how do I get there? The only way I've known how is to help others. And helping others is sometimes letting them help me. You being on here is a huge help for me.
Me too.
Is there, for the young you that's growing up, come on, I love this question. I mean, he's lost a little bit, yeah? Haven't found his spot yet.
Yeah, I was.
Were you lost, or am I just stretching? Because I'm allowed to be this authentically raw. You're like, no, Brett, you're dead off.
No, I was lost, and I was confused, and I was scared.
There you go.
I was scared of everything. I mean, I got shipped off to New York City when I was a teenager, and I threw up in trash cans for 3 days. I was so scared of what have I done? What have I done? And it wasn't until I made a circle of friends and a circle of,
Belonging,
yeah,
a community.
and then I didn't. It wasn't even a question. Well, it was at first, but it was okay that I was a gay kid.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, there were a group of girls that did come up and say, "Oh my God, we think you're so cute. You sing like an angel."
Yes.
Yada yada, all these things, and I was like, "Sorry, it's not happening for you." But then after that, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay for me to be myself.
Yeah.
And
So you've
then-
gotten there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't apologize anymore for it.
And so, if I may point out the positive of this, there's growth.
oh yeah,
So some of that hole has been closed.
yes,
And I just
definitely.
think like in your journey in business, I think sometimes it takes time.
Yeah,
Healing time takes time. I didn't come up with that.
yeah. I don't apologize
Yeah.
for who I am anymore. If you have a problem with it, guess whose problem it is?
Yeah.
It's yours.
Do you deal with that much in Clay County?
I haven't.
I hear that a lot because Jamie Smith was on.
Yeah, he
here,
said the same thing.
Yeah, and that makes me happy.
I haven't. No.
Yeah.
And I don't. Like I said, I don't apologize for it.
Yeah.
You want to come for me? Let's go.
Yeah. Call me. I'll stand by you.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for being on All About
You're
the
so
Grind.
welcome.
I think when you watch this back, you're going to see a lot of depth. I already heard it. I've got 2 pages worth of notes. I always enjoy going back. I'll watch it 4 or 5 times just to study it, and I'll have more notes for the next time we sit down. I want to see the moment that you find that grind again.
Yeah.
And I want to be here. So I want you back. I want to pick your brain some more. Just about life. It can be politics. It can be sports. It can be
Sure.
decor. We may even start bringing in, because we're going to do small snippets as well. We may start bringing in for 30-minute snippets on trends and furniture trends, because I have furniture people that'll begin to watch this because they know a lot of people know what I do as well. So, but more importantly is you as a person. And there is more of a grind going on now than I think you're giving yourself credit for.
Yeah.
And so I would love to see a creased paper soon with those positives on the side. And if you only get 4 or 5, come sit back down and we'll all together. I bet you I can add another 9 or 10. So you bring value to this world, and there will be somebody on here that will hear your vulnerability and still your uncertainty, because you don't have a clear plan right now.
No.
So I gotta have it back. I gotta track it and see. And you have my phone number. I'm always a phone call away. And I consider you a friend. So thank you so much. That
I
was
have
all.
one more confession.
You can have 20 more. We can keep this thing going.
No, just one more confession.
Okay.
I've never been fishing.
Okay. Well,
Challenge accepted.
I mean, gay guys know how to toss a. Besides, they got the loose wrist, man. They can let that thing go better than me.
I can swing that thing.
We're going fishing.
Okay.
Okay. Going fishing. And I actually know somebody who's got a boat where we may get on some real fishing and
Yep.
everything. So,
Oh boy.
yeah. Until next time, listen, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about us. It's all about the grind. It's a wide array of things. Matt Triche with us here. What a wonderful local gentleman who is finding his way, and we'll be tracking him. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game
That's
on.
why you're here,
My skin
sir.
is thick, yeah, it's
You
tough.
have much to
Running,
share.
yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness inside.